Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about build versus buy and a little bit of a different angle. I've been doing a lot of content around build versus buy because it is a very hot topic. It's always been a hot topic, but now with Claude Code and other tools, it is the hottest topic because people are building things for better or for worse, and oftentimes for better. I'm a builder by heart. I always like trying to solve problems, and there's always been a gap between business understanding of an issue and the technical skills needed to fix an issue. And I think right now those are closer than ever. But there's also, I think, a lot of potential risks for those who don't really may not appreciate or understand the downstream implications of some of these tools and running them at scale and with multiple people. And we have a whole ebook talking about really how to embrace the builders and do it safely and the pros and cons of all of that. And I'd recommend checking out the ebook. But on this one, there's a little bit different idea that I'd like to share around the true gold of build versus buy and the internal builders of firms is being able to identify those special folks in your organization who have that drive, who have that knowledge, the drive, the ambition, and ultimately caring enough about their job to take time to build something, right? So especially in large organizations, there's probably a pretty healthy segment of folks who do their job, right? They come in, they do their work, and then they leave at the end of the day. And there's some folks who want to do more, want to learn more, want to make a bigger impact, want to deal with the limitations or the inefficiencies of their role and their job and their position, and they're the builders. And at my role when I was at Colony, where I was the had a technical leading role there and working on how to solve things at scale, I was always looking for folks within the business who obviously understand the day-to-day business challenges, but had that drive to try to make things better. And those are the folks I wanted to recruit onto my team. So when it comes to folks that are, I don't even like to use the word shadow IT anymore. But folks that they're building within the organization, I think being able to identify them and the approach of just coming down with a hammer and kind of crushing their spirit, probably not the best, probably not the best long-term approach, because these are the folks that know enough, again, care enough, and are putting effort in to try to make things better. The intentions are very, very good, right? So you want to encourage them. You want to encourage them in a way that's very productive and collaborate with them and get them in a place where they can be helpful for themselves and the organization. And the point I want to make on here is that with build versus buy, looking for the builders, you're going to identify folks that can make a real impact in your company and have real commitment to the firm. And that's the real gold nugget, is finding those builders and then properly encouraged and properly harnessed and properly collaborated with, you can end up making some really impressive changes to the organization on the process and technical side. So build versus buy, we've discussed other aspects of it, but use it as a way to find the real high potential, high achievers in your organization, and then figure out a way to help collaborate with them in a really safe, efficient manner to help the organization evolve. Thank you.